Back at the Banger in the Hangar Container interviews.
Which cannot be contained.
No,
Yeah.
we're upscale here.
Once again, won't shut up and skate podcast about Texas stuff, and there's some stuff, special stuff. I don't even know how to begin this interview. It's the one that everybody wants, but wasn't sure when it was going to happen. Maybe? I don't know. Hey, what's going on, Ken Fillion?
It's all going on. It's all about you, bud.
So I just roped you in and randomly said, you need to come in and do an interview.
That's good.
And you're good. So let's talk about a couple of things. We got a little bit of time. We're going to talk about other things.
The old guys are putting the Bengay on and taking the Advil. So
that's right. We're right at the Banger, second day, Saturday. Dead Kennedys is playing tonight. Right now, the Masters division started. And so we grabbed Ken Fillion for a few minutes. And so, Ken, we know a lot of your history, but let's just get, you're from Pasadena. Am I correct? Pasadena.
Pasadena.
When you started skating, you're a little younger, or where are you at compared to Johnny, Dave, Donaldson, those guys?
So I am actually the same age as those guys, except I was one grade ahead. I was born in Orlando, Florida, moved to Texas when I was 10, and my birthday's on the 13th, September 13th, and they did not want to hold me back for a year, so they let me slide in. And I was kind of the young little scrawny kid in high school.
As far as the Houston scene, did you come in later? Did you know some of those guys, or just give us a trick? Where was your home park? Just give us a quick, when kids started doing stuff.
The quick and dirty is I found a bonsai skateboard in a bayou in the mud, and my buddy said, there's a little ditch up the bayou, and I cleaned that board off, and I saw Johnny doing 360 pirouettes, Vert slides on a Z-Flex. And the kid I've never seen anything like that. He had such a natural looking flow. And I go, well, he's redheaded like me. Maybe I can do it too. And sure enough, I drop in and slam. And a few months later, we moved to the south side of Houston at the Gulf Coast skate park. Okay. And that's where I started stealing his tricks and feeding off him a little bit.
Nice.
Right. So I had a great mentor right there. Right. One of the top pros, first guy coming out of Texas. That's your bud that you're trying to mimic. And I was all will over skill, and he was all flow.
Now that was give us about a year-ish.
So we're looking at 77 or 8, about 78, 79.
Did you go to that big contest in San Antonio where there's the Texas Championship?
I did.
Okay, so we didn't see your name in the placings, but obviously don't know. You competed?
I did. I got third place in the half pipe. I barely made it. So what age group? I'm the young kid, probably.
Because Donaldson 12. Was in the 6 to 9.
Yep. Hubert Plummer was there.
Yes.
All the Pipeline skate park guys, Tommy Hormel. And I just learned inverts on the quarter ramp at Gulf Coast. Once again, Johnny's kind of coaching me. Bobby Valdez is doing this trick. It's awesome. I go, I know. I've been looking at the sequential. I can't figure it out. You got to get on your hand and just kind of go around it. And I go, wow, you make it sound so easy. So, I learned that. And I was one of the only ones, me and Johnny were doing inverts in their pool, right? First kind of pool I skated. But, it was rad.
Were you on now that there's a little theory that I talk about that contest is pretty much the last vestige of Texas doing the skateboard team, the Donnell distribution, all that. Were you on a skate team at that time, or you were doing it independent?
Yeah,
but you remember the skate teams where they had points awarded to groups, but it stopped after that, kind of.
So I used to have on my Facebook page that picture from that park, and it was all the Pipeline guys in their light blue shirts, and Johnny sitting there. I think he just got sponsored, and I'm sitting there holding my board. Everybody else has a board on the ground, but I want to hold mine in my hand and look hot. So it's crazy.
There you go. So graduate a little bit further. You're getting to the 80s and stuff. When did the P ramp start?
So from that Gulf Coast skate park, they had that ramp, and we acquired it at midnight.
The Midnight Lumberyard.
Midnight Lumberyard.
That's what you do, right? So what I helped with was the acquisition of lumber at the Midnight Lumber Supply.
That's how it works.
And my dad had a glass rack truck, and I would say, all right, we need plywood and 2x12s to hook the ramp, make a flat bottom and some decks. So I kind of organized, all right, I need 2 guys on plywood. Me and Gibson are on 2x12s. Prince, you and Chasen, you get the beams. Let's go. 2 minutes in, out. And that was it.
It's like a movie where they've got it all timed out.
Operation.
Heist caper.
The only thing they didn't have was earpieces.
All right. Do you synchronize your watches?
And so they were building some townhomes and duplexes on Allendale, next to Johnny's house. I go, this is going to be easy, quick, smash and grab. They put a chain on the wood, and all you do is slide the chain off, and boom, 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 boom. Everybody did their assignment, and guess what? Never was apprehended.
Still at large.
We built at least four or 5 times.
So that would have been, you said, what year would that have started?
So we're at...
That's the park closed. You acquired the ramp. It would have been in
80,
the 80, 81.
We're saying 80.
Okay.
Yep.
So did you skate Texas Twister?
I did.
Okay, which was Dennis's parents' park before the skate park in Houston.
Right, yeah. So that was a U metal ramp. And Johnny was already, ollies and grinds.
Now, that was the one that Carjack, we were talking about, where he was a metal shopper, was a metal fabricator, and he put coping on it, I suppose. Mm-hmm. And then that was a true U-pipe, so no flat bottom.
Right. If you remember the park when you first went in to the skate park in Houston, it had that little ditch there.
Yep.
Well, that was there.
The original,
Yeah, original. And then they had all kinds of little flow stuff. But that just kind of stood out. And it was hot. I mean, you're putting metal in the sun in Texas. So
were you sponsored at that time?
I was not. I did not get sponsored till 84.
84. So just before that, you've got this. You acquired the ramp. That became the P ramp.
You did.
At that time frame, towards the tail end, when the P ramp, I think, was still there, Dennis was starting. His parents had the park. They were building that, and then they transferred it. I think they moved properties.
Yep.
Or.
So he was,
and then before he built the Kahuna.
Yeah, he had a property 1 exit up, and he had a steel ramp there, and it was kind of a U. I can't remember if it had flat on it, but it was the same concept. I go, man, you're building the coolest ramps. He's like, well, this is only up for a little while. We're getting the property back at the old skate park, and I want to build a big ramp. I go, yeah, make it big, like so.
How big was P ramp?
P ramp was like 11 or so.
Okay, so still really, I mean, what was Lance's? What was the standard at the time, Carjack?
Oh, Lance's was like 9 or 10, his first one.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the standard. Now, were you guys at that time, and a lot of beers later, but do you remember like going out and going, we're going to build it better than California? Or do you remember that kind of like?
So we went off of the clown ramp, right? Phillips was like, you don't need more than a foot. This is your transition. Just make it a foot so you can learn all these tricks. And I'm like, nah, I want a little bit, 1.5 feet. Let's go with that.
Yeah, let's go bigger.
And so that was the P ramp. P ramp had the same transition as the clown ramp, except with all those crazy little bells or whatever they were.
Right.
So, and then, so in 84, you got sponsored.
I did.
And that was
from the Dallas contest. I got first.
Is that the Dallas contest at Donnell's?
Yeah, you remember the one where Macero's on the ground?
Yeah.
Right, and then everybody fell and the ambulance came. Yeah, we know that story. Yes,
All
yes.
right, which one is it? So it was that contest. I got approached by Brad Dorfman of Sims Vision. Yeah. Hey, dude, we really want to hook you up. And I'm like, And I just did a little session with Neil and Johnny at Corpus Christi at Cecil's Night Jam.
Yep.
And I love...
Was that 83?
I think so, yeah, 83. So Neil was just such an inspiration. He's so odd. And, being with him and Gibson, I'm like, maybe I can swindle Neil into talking to Billy Ruff, who's at this contest, and they can get me on.
So JNS?
Yeah. So I said, Brad, hold on. Let me go talk to somebody. I said, hey, I don't want to ride for Brad because he looks like Mel Gibson. Yep. And I'm scared of him. So he's got that mullet thing. Yep. And Neil's all right, let's go talk to William.
Man, that's cool. So that brings up two.
So you got on the GNS right away.
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Yep.
So that brings up kind of 2 things. Well, it's 3 things. That's cool that you had that interaction with Sims and you wanted to go that route because of mullets and whatever. But
no, that was a wise decision.
Well, they had such a long list of people: Buck Smith, Henry Gutierrez.
Yeah.
Well, then did you throw Troy under the bus and say like, don't want me? Go get Troy. I'm going to GNS.
I let this out. I went to Newton. I said, hey, just got first place, and Brad Dorfman offered me a sponsorship, but I really want to ride Texas. I want to ride Zorlak. And Jeff goes, yeah, but you're not cool enough. Smoked, sizzle.
So at that time, real quick, and I've got a couple of points.
I wasn't cool.
Yeah, I've got to keep it on track. Couple of points.
That's rough.
So we talk a lot about in our episode of the lore of hearing of Neil loving Texas.
Yeah.
I just got a floppy disk from Mike Money that is photos from Big Ryan of the 1983 contest you're referring to.
Okay.
I sent it to a place to digitize it.
Yes.
So the question is, with Neil got there's a lot of GNS riders, but what was the deal with Neil in Texas? Why? I know he's friends with Johnson and all those guys, but why?
I think he was so enamored with this kid, pasty little redhead kid coming out of Pasadena and taking top spot over some of his people. He beat Christian at Marina.
Yep.
And you're referring to Johnny,
Yeah,
of course.
Johnny is just killing him. He's like, dude. And he would come back and he looked so cool. His hair was all cool and his Devo shirt. He was just so hip. And Neil just like, I got to get to Texas. I got to see what it's all about. How did this kid, he skates on a bowl in a park and a steel ramp. I gotta see what's going on there. And so Johnny asked his mom if we could borrow her pink Cadillac, and we went down to Cecil's.
She's selling Mary Kay.
I don't think so.
So Neil was definitely he liked all the Texas guys, and of course it's weird because Neil was tall, Wilkes was tall.
Yeah.
Everybody, well, you're not tall.
I don't know what
you're
happened
not tall.
there. Yeah, I don't know.
So on to the skate park of Houston. You guys still had the P ramp at that time.
We did, yeah.
Okay. The Kahuna comes in. We obviously know the whole it's bigger, better, badder. It changed. We believe that it changed skateboarding for sure.
Well, it made my career. And we heard about it at that Dallas contest.
Oh, you had heard about it. You didn't
Dennis
know.
is almost done with that ramp. But we're like, what? Oh, you guys are going to kill it. You're going to kill it.
So do you think do you think the Kahuna was did it step up your height of airs a level?
100%.
100%.
100%.
More vert, bigger airs.
So I was holding back rolling in the channel because I didn't want to launch out 5, 6, 7 feet on the get-go. I wasn't ready for that. But, a year or two later, I got more comfortable and I'm flying over people's heads.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fun stuff.
You and Troy, obviously, buddies. I've got a good photo of some doubles of you guys, and
T-Bone will be here
and all
soon.
that. You're also one of the Houston kings of inverts.
Oh yeah.
Not that there's a lot of people did inverts, but you definitely had that invert stall, hold it,
Yep.
And tweak it all the way to hell and back.
kind of style,
I can
etc.
still hear Danny Webster, hot eggs. I'm like, please, Danny.
Danny Webster, we're going to do an episode down the road called the UK Invasion,
Ooh, that's
and that
gonna be
includes
good.
all of them and Barry and all those guys. Like I said, we're doing these short little clips and these short little interviews, so we don't have a lot of time. Ken obviously deserves a lot of more time. But we're also getting some, before I get into that, your pro career lasted for how long?
So I think I was.
Technically, it's not over yet.
That's
Still
true.
not over
That's
yet.
true.
Once you're a pro, you don't go back to amateur. No. I looked in a Big Brother magazine. It says washed up, Ken Fillion, Jon Gibson. And this is like 90. I'm like, wow, that didn't last long. So about 91, after GNS, a few years there, went to Toxic in 90, 91. And then our good buddies invented street skating and took over the industry.
Right.
So yeah, good 5, 6 years.
Yeah.
No alarm clock, skateboarding day to day.
But come fold in the recent years, Embassy representing a lot of you guys in Texas and keeping that. You've got a board model, you got a new graphic. You said you hadn't skated in a little while, but you skated at the Banger and Hangar here.
I did.
Still doing it, chest high airs.
The first year I skated for a week before the event. And then the next year I skated for 6 weeks. And man, I couldn't believe it. It's just me and Cody. Hubba came out and skated a little bit, some kids. I'm like, what do we need to do to grow our vert sport in Houston? We've got to get this out there. We got to do something. So I'm like, hey, any kid that wants to learn, come out on Tuesday at 7:00. We'll teach you how to skate. So that kind of just didn't go anywhere on Instagram and whatever. So we definitely need some young kids. And that's what's so good about this event is it inspires all ages. I'm seeing little 5-year-olds out there, and kids are like, "Oh man, their parents are saying how good you were and all that stuff." So it's good to see.
You and Troy and all those guys were always, I mean, I was a third tier shop skater kind of thing at that time, but you guys were always super solid. I was a couple of years younger than you guys, but I was older than Brian and all those cats. And that was super cool. Before I get to asking you about a couple of people, one of the things I want to give you props for that you don't know is that in those old days, like when Thatcher would come in and announce the events and all that, and I'd do some of the AM stuff.
Yep.
And then I started stepping up. Part of my flavor and learning was you occasionally would get on the mic and fucking crack everybody up and outrageous. And I realized that I could call an event with humor and make fun of people and still accomplish it without being a dick. And you probably didn't know that some of that influence comes from you.
Yeah, you don't want to offend them, but you definitely want to take their little quirks. And mine came when I think I got 16th or 17th in Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm behind the ramp with Adrian Domain, and we're talking jokes, and we did this at our first contest in Atlanta, and so I'm cracking jokes. We're cracking jokes on all the pros, and Beauregard, something like that.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about.
He's the announcer, and he's very deadpan, and he goes, "Hey, you guys get out of here! You're cracking me up. Stop that." Get out. And I'm like, I'm not leaving. I'm mad. I only missed the cut by 0.6. So he goes, sit down. Well, you want to sit down? You guys want to sit down? And Adrian Domain's like, no, I'm not doing that. I go, I'll do it. And by the end of the jam, I had everybody out of the seat in Louisville. They paid a lot of money. We're in an arena.
Yep.
And I'm telling them if they want to see new tricks, because I know Tony had the blunt came out, some other stuff. You want to see new tricks? Get up. Get out, get loud, punch your fellas, make fart noises. I don't care what you got to do. Let's go. And that was it. And I was like telling everybody, Craig Johnson, his pubes were dreadlocked. That's how he took
Good
dreads.
thing that he didn't pull them out of his zipper like out his hair through his helmet.
And Phillips had so much tie-dye. I think his huevo cajonas were also tie-dyed. So I walked that line of like, what is this guy saying? But everybody's cracking up. Steve Caballero, knife through butter, hot knife through butter, just all that kind of stuff. And they loved it.
Yeah. And they mentioned it in Transworld when they wrote up the event. I remember they mentioned you doing the announcing, and they were like, this could be a good second career if this skateboarding thing doesn't work out.
Well, I still want to skate. The next event, we're in Seattle. I qualified 4th place, right?
Is that the one where Social Distortion played?
Yeah, I'm out of my mind in 4th place. Right, it's Hosoi, the PAL guys, and Fillion. I go, oh, this is good. It's going to get. And then, so I'm automatically in the top 10, right? Stay Sprouted behind the ramp. Fillion, we need you. They're dying out there. I go, you got Bo out there, bro. He goes, come on, wrangle him, man. You got to do it. I go, all right, Stacy. I'm trying to get my Zen on. We got Christians over here taking oxygen hits, and Tony's getting his knee wrapped. And I go, I'm like a fish out of water. He goes, but you know what to do on that mic. Get out there. And so I go, all right, I'll do it for beer money. Got it. Good. Let's go. So he gave me some beer money.
Personality. So,
yep.
So was that just a case of you coming through in the clutch, or was that Stacy's like third level thinking of how to take out a potential competitor?
He took me out of my game, man. I went to 9th. No, Stacy, he knows people's skills and their attributes. And he was in Louisville. He's like, this guy, he's got so much. He's just a pro, and we don't have like a real active pro announcing. And that's kind of what he was after. Yeah, and on hindsight, I might have went down that path instead of skate.
Yeah,
but no, it was good. It's all fun.
I mean, but it's Jimmy Coleman went down that path.
Look at him.
So three. We're gonna wind this down here, Ken. So tell us a story about Wild Bill.
Oh,
or tell us anything about Wild Bill. Just a minute or two.
Okay. So the first interaction with the guy, he came up with a real cowhide leather, like a wrist guard. And I go, what is that, buddy? And he's like, that's wrist guard, man. You've got them. And he's like, how can I sell these? And I'm like, I don't know if you can. Craig Johnson, come here. Would you wear that? He goes, in a heartbeat. Let's go. Put it on. Let me ride it. I'm rocking it. And so he kind of got in our group, and still we're wearing Rectors, right?
Which
and
slid off on metal ramps.
You
and
know,
stuck
all the Dallas guys were putting their hot glue guns and doing double caps.
Yeah.
Wilkes was big, Phillips and Craig.
See, I think, and I want to talk to those guys. I think that's where Bill got the idea.
It is 100%.
He's like,
And he goes, okay, so what you need is like a beefier pad. I'm like, make it Texas size, son. Come on. We're going 10 foot on the ramp, and we need that extra cushion.
And metal gets sticky or all that weird stuff. Yeah.
And so his first one, he came, and it was just flat. It was like a flapjack. I'm like, man, you got to cut some notches in it so it
bends.
Yeah, it's a little rounded on the knee. And after a few concepts, he got it, and we all were loving it.
Yeah.
Right? Big ramp, big bad.
And now he's become a thing, and we're be memorialized him recently. So we appreciate, the words on that.
I worked hand in hand with that guy when you're in his trailer.
You'll see the trend here, Jon Comer.
Right.
Man, just a quick story. Just a quick story.
So I'm in Austin at their little 69 bowl, and I'm like, so he's the best skater of all time. He's got one leg and he's killing everybody. How can you compete with that? And he's just so mellow, right? But still, he had that aggro kind of temperament to him. But sweet, sweet, sweet man. Miss him. Miss that guy.
Miss that guy.
Yep.
And well, it's coming. Jeff Phillips.
Oh, that's my boy.
Come on, I know you got at least something that again. This is a Texas history podcast, so this ain't your fluff that you've told. This is some tall tale shit.
So the most time I spent with him was in Alabama at the Gulf Shores ramp where it was off the ground, and he goes, "Hey, get there early and we'll skate before the ramp's built." I go, "What's that?" "We'll skate when it's just plywood, and when they put on the masonite, we'll be smoking them." I go, "You're crazy. That ain't gonna work." And so I get there, and I go, "I can't skate a ramp without masonite," whatever. And we kept that stupid, pompous, bourgeois voice up the whole weekend. And everybody's like, "What's wrong with Ken and Jeff?" "Nothing's wrong with us. We skating in the swamps here in Alabama." And so I get second place because Buck Smith breaks his wrist and keeps skating. But Blaze Bloom was there, and he was not wrong. When they put the masonite on there, we did skate like 2 sessions just with just plywood sideways. And I go, "This is awesome." And so we're in the hotel room, and he's doodling. Let's do add a line. Neil does this. You add a little line, and then you pass the board. He adds a little line. That board is in my garage. And it's a foam GNS wannabe.
Well, the Fiberflex. Yeah.
So
the Fiberlight.
He said, "Beware of the hand of doom." And I don't know. That was kind of his thing, but super great dude. Super great. He goes, "Fillion, I know it's hard for you to go front side, but you got to give it a try, bro. Give me some lean airs. Give me some lean airs, bud. Put a foot down on the ramp, man. Boneless. Give me something, man."
Like mute grab forever.
Yeah, come on, dude. And he goes, "You know what? Just go with your strengths, right? Do you."
Man,
he's awesome.
So rad. Yeah. It's been 30 years, unfortunately.
Man. I know, it's crazy.
Since that, but well, man, Ken, we need to get you for some longer. This is the Banger and the Hangar Container episodes. We appreciate you. You're high flying, crazy personality.
Vert style. And
you're still making everybody crack up, but you are a big part of Texas history.
Oh, yeah.
And we're just trying to make sure that, we're still in the spotlight because you
were just happy to be here, be part of the team, do it for the coach. Thanks, coach.
All right. There you have it. Banger in the Hangar Container Sessions. Ken Fillion.
Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome.
The future's up to you.